Well, hello everyone and welcome to Hogarth's Global Astrology. Know your planets, know yourself, or know your nation, know yourself. Interchangeable. And I'm just going to get straight in on this. As we know, the solar eclipse is due to happen on the 10th of June. Yeah, and it's happening in sidereal Taurus. Yeah, sidereal Taurus. And this is going to be a very powerful and a very important eclipse. And I will do where the eclipse will fall for all of the signs. However, what I feel I need to do first is that we need to look at Joe Biden's chart. Yeah, Joe Biden's chart. So what I've done is I've gone into some details. Now, as you will know already, quite a few of the astrologers and tarot readers and stuff, everyone basically is kind of looking at Joe Biden's chart, and we're a little bit worried about his health. So I looked into it as well, just to actually kind of check. And you know, I have to say I'm pretty worried too, but I'm going to go into details of why. Now, I'm trying to think, I'm thinking to myself, what shall I call this video? Yeah, what shall I call this video? And I'm thinking of calling it Joe Biden versus the Black Widow. Yeah, and we all know who that is. Yeah, Putinshka. Yeah, let's just say Putinshka. And what is happening? I was just looking at some dates. Yeah, I was looking at some dates, and Joe Biden is going to meet Putinshka on the 16th of June 2021 in Geneva. Yeah, in Geneva. Probably quite soon after he's going to be at the G7 meeting in the UK, I would imagine. In fact, I should have actually researched a little bit of that, but we've got a big G7 meeting in Cornwall. And then it's likely, as tends to be standard practice with US presidents when they're in the UK, that he will meet the Queen at some point. Sorry, I've not researched that more. I'm just literally just doing that off the top of my head because I thought it was much more important to focus on this placement. Now, what I've got here is, this is Joe Biden's natal chart in the background. Yeah. Now, you've seen this, and I'll kind of point to certain points in this chart if I want to make any specific kind of points. But what I've done is I've printed Joe Biden's chart, yeah, but with the transits. So this is the drishti, not of, well, some of it is his natal planets, but this is the energy that is going on at around that time. Now, there's something very, very interesting going on, because we have the eclipses. The solar eclipses are happening on the 10th, yeah, the 10th of June, as I said before. And they're going to be in this axis, yeah. So if I just show you here, sidereal Scorpio and sidereal Taurus, this axis. Remember as well, I do Vedic astrology. For the West, it is sidereal Sagittarius and sidereal Gemini. Yeah, so that's speaking about a different kind of aspect to things. But in terms of the actual placements, this is where they're happening. Now, we all know that Joe Biden is a double Scorpio. Yeah, he's a double Scorpio. And if we look here, you may not be able to see it, but there's the sun. Where, let's see here. Let me just get a pen, a bit more accurate if I do it with a pen. So if we look here, here's Biden's ascendant, yeah, which is, oh, let's see if that shows up. Here we are, yes, it's this black line here. This is Biden's ascendant, which is basically at 10 degrees of sidereal Scorpio in the nakshatra Anuradha. And his sun is at 4 degrees 30 minutes. Yeah, which is here. Now, remember, the sun is what? The kingdom as well, yeah? And the ascendant is the body, yeah? So the body and the kingdom are both in the same place for Joe Biden's chart. So that's one thing. What we have is, we've got nodes, yeah? The transiting nodes are going through, because remember, they go in reverse. Yeah. So if the planets go clockwise like this, yeah, in this South Indian style chart, then the nodes, they always go backwards. And if the planets are going backwards, then the nodes are going forwards. They always go retrograde, yeah? They always go retrograde in accordance to the planets. So here we have got Ketu, the south node of the moon, which is known as a spiritualizing force, but it's also known as a weakening force as well. Ketu is the karka, the indicator of moksha, which means liberation from this world. Yeah, remember that. Liberation from this world. Ketu, much like Saturn, and the nodes of the moon in general, can deal with separation from things, yeah? So here, when one has Ketu going through the first house, it can be a very challenging time. Yeah, because one's energy can sometimes feel at a loss, like you don't have your full power. Yeah, you don't have your full power. It thins the veil somewhat. Yeah, thins the veil. Ketu can give, also as well, can give very kind of deep and insightful dreams. Ketu has the ability to know things without necessarily saying it. Because remember, it's the body in terms of like the dragon, that is Rahu and Ketu. Rahu is the severed head of the dragon and Ketu is the body. Now, many of you watching my video will know this, but for those that are not familiar, that's sort of how it works. So wherever Ketu is, it's like, I say to my clients in consultations, it's like when you fill up the sink and you pull the plug, yeah? And you know that spiral, that vortex going down, that is what Ketu can be like, yeah? And so that's happening in Biden's first house. So that's already a worry, yeah? That's already a worry. Now, if you look here, I've drawn in this star, yeah? This star here. Now, this star that I've drawn in is at 14 degrees 46 minutes. And that star is called Antares, yeah, or Antares. And Antares is the star of war, yeah. Antares is the star of war. So let me just find it for you in the, where's Scorpio here? It's like, where's Antares? I'm just actually looking for it now, and it's just, here we go, here we go. So this is where you can actually see it on the map of the sky. Remember, look, this is a map of the sidereal sky. Yeah, this is where the stars actually are. That's Antares there, which you'll see. Yeah, it's going here as a part of Scorpio. Yeah, it's a part of Scorpio. And it is actually in the nakshatra of Anuradha, which is ruled by Saturn. Yeah. Now I know I'm saying all these different things, but as you understand, you know, this is a Vedic astrology channel. But Antares is in the tail of the scorpion. Yeah, tail of the scorpion, and basically it means war. It's either in the tail or the heart of the scorpion, but anyway, it's to do with the scorpion. But it's a star of war. So that's a bit ominous. And transiting Ketu. Now this is let me just see. Let me just double check that I've got the dates here correct, because it might be just before. What date have I have here? Oh, actually, I've got the date. I'll explain. So it is around that degree when Biden will be seeing Putin. But it's not exact, because there's actually an even more exact date which it's there, but it's going to be hovering around that degree. In fact, it might even be in the as time goes on, because the nodes go in reverse. That number, that 16 degrees 15 minutes, which is actually to do with a date in July, will actually get lower. And because they go in reverse, and it will actually exactly conjunct, Ketu will exactly conjunct Anuradha. Oh, what am I talking about? Antares, probably in a couple of months from now, but we can follow up with that. But the point is the orb is very close. Yeah, any orb that is like 5 degrees or less should be taken seriously. Yeah, should be taken seriously. And this one, I mean, this is less than 3 degrees, less than 3 degrees. So we have the ascendant, which is the body, the personality, how we come across, all of that kind of stuff. And then we have the sun here as well, which of course, like I said, is the kingdom. And it also deals with leaders as well, leadership, yeah? And we also have Venus there at 5 degrees as well. Now, Venus is going to be important, but transiting Venus is more important. So so that's the first house, yeah? That's the first house. So this is Biden's first house. The house opposite is the outside world, but let's just make our way around because there's a lot of detail on this. So we see here there's no planet here in Joe Biden's second house, yeah, which is family and values and all that kind of stuff. But if we look here, now there's no natal planet here either, but what I've drawn in are the transiting planets, yeah? So this is transiting Pluto, which in the USA natal chart, which is a Sagittarius ascendant, this Pluto is in the second house, yeah, which is about what? Values, yeah? And what is Pluto? Pluto represents the dark night of the soul. Pluto represents transformation, but often the transformations that we don't want to make, but the ones that are almost forced upon us. We go deep down into Hades. Hades, of course, is the Greek name for Pluto. We go down, we confess our sins, ideally, and we get Hades to take on those sins for us, and then we emerge up out the other side, kind of reborn. Hades has a lot to do with Persephone. Yeah, Persephone's journey into the underworld. So in the USA, it's happening in the second house, because Sagittarius, of course, is one sign along from Scorpio. And the second house is all about what? Money, values, yeah, family, all that stuff. It's essentially about values, one's self-values. But for Joe Biden, it's happening in the third house. The third house. And what's the third house? As we know, it's all about what? Travel, communications, yeah, travel, communications, emails, electronics of all kinds. It could even cover satellites, anything like that, anything that's to do with commerce, business as well, is third house. It also deals with entertainers of all kinds, and it deals with teaching, learning, but also travel, yeah? So we know that Biden is what? Is going to be traveling to meet Putinshka, yeah? He's going to go and see Black Widow. And people might think, oh, Black Widow's a bit strong, but actually it isn't. I think it's actually quite polite considering, because we know the track record, yeah? We know about what? Poisonings, yeah? So this is why I'm a little bit worried. So here we are. Now Saturn, let's not forget, Saturn is what? Balloon popper, yeah? So transiting Saturn, planet of fate and planet of dharma and duty. Well, not dharma, but one's responsibilities, one's duties, yeah? So, of course, Putin feels responsible to meet with Putin. In fact, I think he actually set the thing up, yeah? So he set the thing up. And they're going to meet in Geneva, in Switzerland, yeah, on the 16th, like I said. Now, Saturn is very strong because it's in his own sign of Capricorn, yeah? So we also need to see where Saturn is looking. Transiting Saturn. Where is transiting Saturn looking? Saturn has Mars and Jupiter and the nodes of the moon have special aspects. All planets look straight ahead, but Saturn, so Saturn looks 3 places, 7 places, which is opposite, and 10 places from himself. Mars looks 4 places, 7 places, and 8 places from himself. Jupiter and the nodes of the moon, they look 5 places, 7 places, and 9 places from themselves. That's called a trine. Wherever a planet looks, it will activate. It will activate that house. It's like shining a torch in that house, or putting energy into that house. What you need to remember this, whenever Jupiter and Saturn look in the same place, that is a very powerful point of manifestation. The more planets you have looking in the same place, the more emphasis there is on that area of life. So keep that in mind, because this is really important. So transiting Saturn in Joe Biden's chart is looking at his natal Mars. Look, this is when Mars was sidereally when he was born, yeah? And Joe Biden's birthday is the 20th of November, 1942, 8:30 a.m., Scranton, Pennsylvania. Yeah, that's what I have. If that's incorrect, you know, let me know. But I think that's the one. I remember going over it in great detail. So that's where his Mars was, his natal Mars. Yeah, now remember, what's Mars? Mars is what? Conflict. Mars is energy. Mars is passion. Mars is strategy. Mars is our ability to do the right thing at the right time, particularly if we're in danger. Yeah, we need to, it's almost like we need to grab our spear instinctively. Yeah, because if you look here, you'll see Mars is a circle with a spear there. Yeah, sharp, pointy end. So it's almost like we need to be able to grab our spear and do what we need to do to defend ourselves or someone else or anything like that. Mars is about doing the right thing. Yeah, believing what the difference between right and wrong, but being able to act quickly and efficiently without dithering. Yeah, and Joe Biden's natal Mars is at 19 degrees 32 minutes. I want you to remember that. It's very important, because any planets aspecting that, or any other planets at that degree or very close to that degree, will be influencing this Mars. Yeah. So here we see here, and look at all this drishti. Can you see all this drishti? Yeah. All these planets looking at Joe Biden's natal Mars. This is going to be very, very, very activated. So there's that. So you got Saturn, balloon popper, looking at his enemy Mars natally. Yeah, transiting Saturn, looking at his enemy, which is Joe Biden's natal Mars. Yeah, so there's that. If we go from the 3rd house, now if we look here, this is Biden's 4th house. And you'll see, look, there's quite a few squiggles here. This is transiting Jupiter. Transiting Jupiter is moving along, yeah? And remember what I said about Jupiter before. Jupiter is going to station on top of what? America's moon, the USA's moon. So I've drawn in the moon for the USA, yeah? Which represents what? The mind, motherland, the nation, yeah? So here, so the moon is the queen of the chart, effectively. And what's happening in terms of transits, yeah? This is the natal American moon transiting Jupiter, is basically in talks, in council. The way I see this is that the queen is coming to Jupiter to confess, yeah? All of her secrets, all of her deep, dark secrets. Because in the USA chart, the moon rules the 8th house of sex, death, and rock and roll. Yeah, so she rules a very difficult, tricky house. So remember that. Natal moon of America meets transiting Jupiter. And here, yeah, here, Let's just see here. There, that is Joe Biden's Ketu. Yeah, remember, the whirlpool. And his Ketu is at 7 degrees and 5 minutes of Aquarius. America's moon is at 7 degrees 26 minutes of Aquarius. Transiting Jupiter is on this date later in June and in July will be at 7 degrees 45 minutes of Aquarius. It's a perfect conjunction. And it's in Biden's 4th house. Yeah? But this will be happening in the 3rd house of America's chart. This is something very, very significant. What we need to remember is this, is that the leader of a nation's chart effectively blends with the home chart. And you can often see what's going to happen in the homeland by looking at the leader's chart. So here in the homeland of Joe Biden's chart, we have a stellium coming together, a conjunction, a convergence of powerful energies. Yeah. So there's more. 5th house is empty. Yeah. Doesn't mean it doesn't work. It's just not emphasized in Joe Biden's chart. 5th house is about it's about children, but it's also about what we do for the things that we do for the love of it, but it's also about giving good counsel and advice to others. Yeah. Now the next big point, which is very significant. So if we look here, you'll notice, look, this is Joe Biden's moon. This is transiting moon. Yeah. Coming together on a specific date, and I'm going to reveal what that date is in a second. So in this stage of time, Joe Biden's natal moon is at 7 degrees 55 minutes of Aries, sidereal Aries, which is Ashwini, yeah, which is all about speed, yeah. On this particular day, the moon will be at 8 degrees 5 minutes. This is what I call a perfect conjunction. Yeah, they're less than a degree apart. So what's extraordinary is Biden's moon and the transiting moon are going to be exactly on the same place. And they're both very close to pretty much at the same degree, because remember as well, America's moon is at 7 degrees 26. And do you remember what I said? Planets that are at the same degree pretty much will aspect each other. They'll influence each other. So here we have the homeland moon influencing the natal moon of Joe Biden's chart and the transiting moon simultaneously. This is extraordinary. Yeah, this is extraordinary stuff. Then we go to the 7th house. What does the 7th house represent? The 7th house represents anyone that's not us. But in mundane astrology, which is what we're doing now, it also represents open enemies. Yeah, open enemies. Now remember, planets at the same degree are very, very strongly combined. And if we look here, we will see Saturn. So this is Joe Biden's natal Saturn, where Saturn was at the time that he was born. And here we see transiting Ketu. Yeah, so remember, the planets go around this way. Rahu and Ketu go around this way. So Ketu has come back to sit right on top of Joe Biden's Saturn. Remember, Saturn is what? Balloon popper. Yeah, some kind of restriction, some kind of karma is ripening. And Joe Biden's natal Saturn is at 16 degrees 53 minutes. Transiting Rahu on this particular day is at 16 degrees 15 minutes. Another perfect conjunction. Rahu can represent the unusual, the weird, the strange, the unexpected. Rahu can also represent poison. Yeah. And I know it seems spooky to say that and all that stuff, but I have to say what I see, what's going on, what things represents poison. Yeah. And if we look here, here's Uranus in Joe Biden's chart, and Uranus is the planet of sudden shocks and surprises. Yeah, it's about liberation, but it's very unpredictable. And if we look here, we go back a house, go back to the 6th house where this moon is transiting. Uranus is actually in sidereal Aries. It's not in Taurus, it's in sidereal Aries, and its degree is 19 degrees 44 minutes. Remember that, 19 degrees 44 minutes, which is exactly opposing Joe Biden's Mars, which sits at 19 degrees 32 minutes. Another perfect conjunction. Yeah, this is huge. When we look here, transiting Mars. So let's see, because what did I do? I went through the 7th house, yeah. And then if we look here, the sun, the transiting sun is going to be in Gemini. It's going to be at 17 degrees 49 minutes of Gemini, yeah. Now, if I remember correctly, let me just see if that is Ardra. I hope it's not Ardra. Ardra. Oh, God. Yeah, it's Ardra. Okay. Transiting sun will be, like I said, at 17 degrees 49 minutes of Ardra. Ardra is one of the most destructive, and, you know, its symbol is the teardrop. Yeah, the symbol is the teardrop. It represents storms. Yeah, storms, the storms of life that we must weather. It's a very challenging nakshatra. And if you'll see here, the sun, which also deals with leaders, is going to be in what? The 8th house. Joe Biden's 8th house. Yeah, which is the house of what? Sex, death, and rock and roll. So that's not particularly auspicious either. And I know this sounds grim, but I must share with people what I see. If we look here, if we go to Biden's 9th house, yeah, what's the 9th house? The 9th house deals with what? Travel, yeah, travel overseas, foreign lands, foreign people, yeah, languages, etc., philosophies, beliefs. It's also politics, yeah, politics. And we see here, transiting Mars is going to be in Joe Biden's 9th house, as I said, but it's also going to be technically debilitated. Yeah, this is technically Mars is debilitated in the sign of Cancer, which means it doesn't have its best function. However, Mars can also be considered delighted in the sign of Cancer as well, because it belongs to his friend the moon, yeah, the queen. However, it's not particularly auspicious because it is technically a debilitation. And if we look here, so transiting Mars on this particular date will be at 19 degrees 32 minutes, which is exactly the same as Joe Biden's natal Mars at 19 degrees 32 minutes. Transiting Venus. Now remember, the Venus represents the wife in a man's chart. Yeah, so this could be Jill. If you look here natally, you'll see here, that's the glyph for Pluto. Yeah, this is transiting Venus. This is Pluto. Transiting Venus on this particular date is going to be at 13 degrees 45 minutes. Joe Biden's Pluto is at, natal Pluto is at 14 degrees 10 minutes. That's another perfect conjunction. This is extraordinary, because that's what? 1, 2, 3, 4 pretty much 4 perfect conjunctions. Anyway, so that makes me worry a little bit about Jill as well. She needs to be careful too, because I'm sure that she'll be accompanying Biden, yeah, to when they go and see, you know, Putinshka. It won't be exact. I'll reveal what this date is in a minute. Also as well, transiting Rahu will be looking at Neptune, yeah? Neptune. In Virgo, in Joe Biden's natal chart, Neptune is in Virgo. And Virgo is the sign of what? Health, yeah? Health. And Rahu's looking there. Remember, Rahu is a malefic. Natal Rahu, so not transiting Rahu is over here, but natal Rahu was in Joe Biden's 10th house, yeah? Which is, you know, about wealth, success and stuff like that. And you often see this in people who are in politics, yeah? Rahu loves being in the 10th house. But look, you'll also see as well, Chiron is here, and Chiron is the wounded healer, yeah? So some kind of wound received via the career, which he's trying to heal to an extent. Now, he's had a very, very long career, and I'm sure he's had many wounds, but I just find that quite interesting. And what you'll notice here is that natal Rahu is at 7 degrees 5 minutes. So we see the 7 degrees thing is back again, which exactly aspects his natal moon, which is at 7 degrees 55 minutes, and transiting moon is at 8 degrees and 5 minutes. So again, another perfect aspect, but this time coming from natal Rahu. So I've already explained Neptune. Neptune is also in the 11th house in Joe Biden's chart. And the 11th house is what? The house of rubbing shoulders, yeah? Meeting what? Foreign people. Also deals with foreign, deals with friends, deals with the eldest sibling, but it's very international, yeah? This is like international friends. The 11th house represents great gains, but also all forms of organizations, international guilds, bodies, etc. Yeah, it also can deal with things like diplomacy as well. Yeah, because you're dealing with the marketplace, the outside world. So he's got his Neptune here in the 11th house. And Neptune can be what? A planet of deception. It can be very spiritual. It dissolves the barrier between the 3-dimensional world and beyond, but it can deal a lot with deception, gaslighting, fog, mists, secrets, yeah? And then when we get to where we've gone round, we get to Biden's what? 12th house. Now, we all know that this is a very spiritual house, and there are many positive aspects to the 12th house, but the 12th house deals primarily with what? Losses, yeah? Beginnings and endings, endings and beginnings. And when we look here, look at all of the aspects going on to Joe Biden's Mars, yeah? Which, of course, again, is at 19 degrees 32 minutes in the 12th house. Which houses does Mars rule in Joe Biden's chart? For anyone that is a Scorpio ascendant, it rules the 1st house in Scorpio, and it rules the 6th house, which is what? Health, yeah, but also enemies as well. It's health and it's enemies. And this date, and if we look here, this star Antares, yeah, here. Now in Russia's chart, which I'll just show you here, in Russia's chart, the star of war falls into the 8th house, yeah, because according to my time here, so if we look at the Christmas day on the 12th 1991, I chose midday. That's essentially when Russia became its republic, yeah. It's when the Soviet Union was no more. Now, people can debate about the exact time, but when it comes to things to do with government, it tends to either be 12 noon or midday. That you'll find that to be broadly true. Anyway, which would give Russia an Aries ascendant. Now, of course, we have to take this with a pinch of salt, because and if anyone knows the exact time when these things were announced, that would be great, because then I can be sure of the ascendant. But just taking that position, it puts Antares, the star of war, in the house of sex, death, and rock and roll in the US, in Russia's chart. What does the 8th house deal with? Yeah, let's just remind ourselves again. It deals with traumas, transformation, will, surrender, life insurance, psychology, addictions, disgrace, bankruptcy, metaphysics, inheritance, shamans, taxes, corruption, money from others, astrology, life force, metaphysics, all of that stuff. Anyone that knows Russia reasonably well will know that they are very much into mysticism. Yeah, very much into mysticism. You would also have heard on Diane's tarot how she mentions about remote viewing and stuff like that. Russia does not poo-poo the esoteric. Let's put it that way. They take mysticism and they take astrology seriously. Because what? It works, yeah? And of course you'd be saying, well, yeah, no, but we just know if there's so much. When you know what you're doing, one can see certain things. So we see here, for Joe Biden, it's in his 1st house, yeah? Antares, in the body. And for Russia, it's in the 8th house, yeah? So remember that. 8th house deals with intrigues and everything. So espionage as well, spying. Yeah? If we look here, their Mercury is in Scorpio. Yeah? And I can be reasonably confident of this because, you know, Mercury is not moving fast enough not to be in this position. Mercury is one of the only planets that does well in the 8th house. Yeah, because the 8th house is about research, digging deep into things. So here, with the 8th house being secrets, Mercury being research and information, yeah, emails, electronics, yes, joining the dots, there it is. Mercury with Mars, the planet of war, and this Mercury is very close to Antares. Antares sits at 14 degrees 46 minutes. And Russia's Mercury sits at 17 degrees 25 minutes. It's less than 3 degrees apart. Yeah? That's not a fluke either. Yeah? So this shows Russia's extraordinary gift for espionage. Yeah, I mean, and it's not just in a negative. You know, these are incredible countries. Yeah, I don't want to be disrespectful of anyone's country. Yeah, because irrespective of what you think or what someone might be saying on a YouTube channel, it's still that person's country. And I've been to Russia, like I said before, and it's beautiful. Much of it is beautiful, and it has an extraordinary history. But what I'm describing here is the energy. So when I look at that position, what do I think of? KGB, yeah, KGB. Mercury, the researcher, in the 8th house, with Mars in the 8th house in its own sign, yeah. In its own sign, and Mercury being conjunct Antares, star of war, in the house of espionage, intrigues. This Mars is very strong. It's the chart ruler. Remember, Mars rules Aries and Scorpio. So you've got the ruler of the 1st house in the 8th house, strong with Mercury. Mercury just adapts to whatever it influences it's under, and it's under the full influence of Mars here. Yeah, so that is just, you know, and I've written here, look, espionage and electronic attacks, yeah? We all know what's been going on, but this shows that this stuff is real. This really works. So when we go back to Joe Biden, his 1st house falls into Russia's 8th house, yeah? But here I'm more concerned about this, yeah? Because his natal Mars is in the 12th house of losses, and it's also an international house. So all of these aspects going on, it is a bit of a concern. I mean, I wish I could be more positive about things, but it just is a concern. So what are we to do about this? Anyone watching this video, and I know it's a bit of a concerning video, but again, I must describe what's going on, and I should also reveal the date as well. All of this stuff becomes exact, guess when? Between July 3rd and 4th. Yeah? What happens every year in America on July 4th? It's Independence Day. Yeah? It's happening, becoming exact, just before Independence Day. And really, actually, in fact, because America is a few hours behind, because remember as well, I cast the chart for the UK time. So really, it's kind of like on Independence Day, it will be there. So what does this mean? What does this mean? It's not only a concern for Joe Biden, but it's also a concern for the homeland. Yeah, because remember, the moon is very involved. The moon is being very triggered by Jupiter. And also as well, the transiting moon is also on Joe Biden's moon. So this is about Joe Biden, and it's about the homeland. It's also about America, and it's all going to be happening around the 4th of July. Now, there can be things that happen a few days before and then a few days after. Biden is meeting Putin on the 16th of June, as I said, which will be 6 days after the solar eclipse. So that's very eventful in itself. But this 3rd/4th of July date is something. And when I look at that, it looks like there's definitely going to be a lot more stuff to do with the homeland. There could be, it could also mean more cyber attacks as well. People have been saying this both in astrology and in the tarot, but when I look at here, it's almost inescapable. Look at all of this happening on the 12th house. 12th house is hidden enemies. But not only that, it can be the enemy within. Yeah? People that are disloyal. Yeah? 12th house also deals with espionage and secrets. Yeah? And there's certain people, yeah, who in the GOP who've made it abundantly clear, yeah, if we think of fascist Flynn, about insurrection. Oh, why can't what happened in Myanmar happen here? Oh, yes, that could happen here. I've never heard such an outrageous thing in my life. I'm amazed that that person has not been arrested for sedition. When I look at this chart, this is really serious stuff. And I don't mean to frighten everyone, but this is serious stuff. Remember I said there's 4 perfections in here. In fact, most of these conjunctions are pretty much perfections, but they're either exactly at the same degree or just 1 or 2 degrees off. This is a powerful manifestation going on here. So what I want everyone to do, I want everyone watching this video, I really want everyone to pray for Joe Biden, his wife, his administration, and America as a whole, because there are hidden enemies, yeah? Hidden enemies, but also open enemies that are kind of trying to do a pincer move on Biden, yeah? On Biden. So he needs our energy, he needs our love, he needs our blessing. And this is all around the eclipses, 4th of July, stuff like that. So I think it's going to be a very eventful summer. Let's just put it this way. That is so much energy that's there. So we need to look out for things. Also as well, give energy that the institutions in America up their game and actually start protecting themselves properly. Yeah, think of the grid, the power grid and infrastructure. I actually wrote a blog, I think it was around about January 2020 or March 2020, where I describe where I was worried about cyber attacks happening in the USA and there being domestic terrorism and stuff like that. It all came true. All came true. I'll probably have to put a link to it. In it, I think I'm a little bit short-tempered about the US because I was a bit frustrated, so I'm still wondering if I should put that link there. But I'll put it in the description if anyone wants to read it, because so much of what I wrote in that blog has come true. So I want this to be a heads up for everyone, yeah? Be on guard, but try not to let the fear possess you too much. What we have to do is transmute this information that I've shared into protection. Yeah, into protection. We need to pray for Joe Biden, like I said, his wife, Jill, and the whole administration and the whole of America, because this is a big test coming up right now. The solar eclipse happens at the same time that Jupiter and the moon are coming together in America's natal chart. The Queen is coming to confess her sins to the priest, yeah? Moon is queen, but Jupiter is the priestess, yeah? And he's going to be stationed on with the moon in the USA chart for 18 days. 18 days. So let me just put here. There we are. So he started to get very close to the moon from May 31st. Yeah, May 31st. That's when he became conjunct. But look, Jupiter stations at 8 degrees from June 10th, the eclipse day, to the 28th. 18 days. This is significant. So when we're looking at Joe Biden's chart, when we're looking at Russia's chart, and of course he's meeting Putinshka, when you look at the timing, one can see why I'm a bit worried. But let's not forget, there is free will. There is free will. And if we give Biden a lot of strength, yeah, prayers for him, his wife, the administration, and America, this may not necessarily manifest. Yeah, so there is hope. We need to look at that debilitated Mars, and rather than looking at the negatives that could come out, we could also say Mars is also delighted. It belongs to his friend, the Queen, yeah, the moon. So let's imagine the best possible outcome for everything. Now, how will these talks go? I mean, we have to see. Yeah, we have to see. Will Russia stop its antics? Of course not. No, because his moves are essentially quite popular. In fact, I was actually watching something on the news, and it was saying that approximately 50% of Russians are actually happy that Navalny is in jail, because they were like, well, you shouldn't be messing around with the leader. Yeah. So we need to remember as well, Russia is a proud nation, a patriotic nation, full of history. Yeah. Full of history, full of bright and intelligent people. Yeah, so I want people to understand, we're just talking about the energy of the government. It doesn't represent the Russian people per se. Yeah, because none of us really can take full responsibility for what our governments do. But what we can try and do is try and vote in the best governments that we can. That's our responsibility to do as citizens in whatever country that we're in that has democracy. So just to wrap up, so prayers for Biden. It is ominous. There's so many exact conjunctions here. So something powerful is going to manifest, but I really do believe that if we kind of send our prayers, protection, just see Joe Biden being successful, Jill being successful, the Biden administration being successful, overcoming these extraordinary tests that have been put at his door. But one of the things that really concerns me most is this 12th house, and there are hidden enemies, yeah? Enemies in the homeland that are not helping Biden, and we all know who those persons are, yeah? So I think I'll leave it there, otherwise I'll just end up kind of banging on. And I hope you found that interesting. I know it is a bit concerning, but like I said, let's transmute this energy, yeah? I've shown you what's going on. so you know where to focus your energy at this very delicate time in US history and global history. And we want the best outcome for everyone. It does work. Yeah, your hopes and prayers were able to avert the worst of the insurrection. And let's do this again to make sure that Biden's safe and hopefully can come through this testing time unscathed. But there is threats there to his health and his physical person as well. But there, I will leave it there. If anyone wants a consultation with me, of course, they can feel free to visit my website. I had to cancel Portugal because, like I said, I looked at the USA, I looked at the UK chart and I could see it was likely it was going to be cancelled because of the 3-9 axis, which deals with travel, foreign lands, etc. So I'm not going to Portugal, but I'm still going to take the holiday because I do need a little bit of a rest. So if anyone wants to book, feel free to kind of, I'll technically be taking the holiday on the 21st of June. So there's still spaces in June if anyone wants to book, or they can book for July, when I'll be, off my rest, because there's a lot of stuff I need to do. I need to put courses together for you guys and do, the arts, illustration, everything that I was planning to do. So look, I'm wittering on, so I will leave it there. 51 minutes, that's long enough. Namaste, everyone. Love to everyone. Please, please pray to transform this energy. Let's try and turn this poison into neutralize it. Yeah? Try and turn this poison into medicine. Yeah? So over all of the summer, let's transmute this and help America pull through this very challenging time. Thanks to everyone as well for all the love and support. Really appreciate that. Thanks so much for helping my channel grow. And of course, you'll see me as well on Saturday as well on Marie's Table. All right. See you soon, everyone. Cheers. Bye-bye. Hello, folks. I'll put this, I forgot to add that I wanted to pull some cards on the situation, and I also wanted to mention, I'll have to kind of cut this to put this in the video, and I also forgot to say today's date. So it's Monday the 7th of June, and it's now 5:03 for me here in the UK. So what I'm doing is I'm just adding this in because I was like, oh, I need to look at this. So one of the things I also wanted to say is that a guy called Ledandowski, who was Trump's 2016 fund manager, said Trump lost the election and that he's not coming back. And apparently he said that on Fox News or Foxtrot. So I find that interesting. I find that very, very interesting that it should come out in that forum. Now, I want to pull 3 cards because obviously what I was talking about with Joe Biden, it is a little bit scary and it's a bit concerning. I don't want everyone to worry too much, but of course I'm describing the energy, and it's my duty, of course, to tell the truth on that, yeah, of what the energy is and what it could mean. There's too many perfected planets, too many perfected conjunctions there. So I wanted to draw 3 cards just so about the energy of this period of time for Joe Biden, but also as well the USA as well. Yeah, so I just want to do that. Obviously, as we know, I'm not the best shuffler in the world, but whatever. Let's just pull here. I'm going to pull 3 cards, and as you know, I like to do it like this. What's the energy around Biden and Putin and the whole meeting and the USA, everything? What's the energy here? What's the energy of this meeting between these 2 leaders? All right, let's see here. Let's see what we got. First card. Let's have a look. Interessante. Okay, if we look here, we've got the Page of Wands reversed. Yeah, Page of Wands. What's Wands about? Wands is about fire, about passion. Yeah, this can actually even be about well, it's about fire, passion, and wanting to move forward with things, having plans, yeah, having plans. And if we look here, we see this is the Page of Wands. Now the page is it's the lowest ranking of those kind of court cards, and it's reversed. So what it's suggesting here is that it may not add up to much. Yeah, it may not add up to much. Whatever either side was planning, they may not get as much out of it as they thought that they would. Yeah, and maybe in a way it's more, they don't want it just to be just for show. They want it to be significant, but it might be built up to be something bigger than it can. And I think this is why people aren't being over the top, in the sense of they understand that what is the realistic outcome of a great deal being achieved? Probably not much. And then when we look here, look, we've got the Two of Pentacles, yeah, which is not only about money, but it's about weighing up things, yeah. So you can imagine Putin and, you know, Biden. It's a balancing act for both men, yeah, for both men and both nations. Because they both want to look what? Strong overseas. Yeah, if you see here, look, you can see here, these are the ships overseas. So even if we just turn it around like this, both of these men are trying to weigh up the situation to see if they can get the best advantage out of it. Yeah. But in this context, like I said, in terms of with Biden and stuff like that, but also for Putin, both of them want to come out looking successful. Yeah, like they've won. Yeah, they both want to come out looking like they've won. So in the context of what we're talking about with Biden being with Putin and those concerns, because remember I said Rahu represents poison. So what I would say is this, Joe, if you're listening, take your own food and drink. Yeah, wear gloves all the time. Yeah, I mean, you're going to look a little bit like, what's his name? I forgot the guy. Is it Yves Saint Laurent? I can't remember, but he's the designer who's passed recently. But this is a time to be on guard, but both men want a victory. Yeah, so this includes Putin as well. Both men want to look good as they discuss and they try and balance things up. Yeah, these propositions, yeah. They need to talk about climate change and stuff like that. And obviously as well, wands also represent what? Fire, yeah? It's the element of fire. So they probably will talk obviously a lot about that as well, about the globe warming up. But both of them want to do well. And this is a victory card, but a victory for whom? Yeah? Because look, it's a balancing act. Who's going to get the victory? This might be something that we look at, yeah? Who came out on top? It remains to be seen. It's in the balance. Obviously, we're hoping that, you know, that Biden does well, or at least comes out of the situation unscathed. But also as well, we don't want Biden to try and humiliate Putin either. Putin is very powerful in his own right, and of course leads one of the biggest nations on earth. In fact, it is the biggest nation on earth. So Biden doesn't want to try and make out that he won everything and he's riding off into the sunset, because of course that's, you know, that's not going to please Russia very much, and it's not going to play well back home, and it will just strengthen Putin's position back home. But both men need to be able to say that they've come away with something. So let's hope that they can agree on things to do with fire, things heating up, climate change, yeah, stuff like that. Let's hope they can agree on things like that, because that affects the whole world at the end of the day, irrespective of which leaders are in power. And let's hope that they can both come away from this meeting, this negotiation, this balancing act, yeah, feeling like they've won something, yeah? So again, you know, let's hope for the best outcome for everyone, but let's not hope for too much as well, because it is only a page after all. So it may seem like lip service, but if they can both come out looking like they've had a win, it at least kind of improves things a little bit, but we still need to watch for things domestically back home in America, which I would say is probably actually the biggest threat, yeah, from, you know who, Duck LaRange and his cronies. But that guy, Lewandowski, has apparently come out and said on Foxtrot that Trump is not going to be reinstated. So are some people now at the precipice of this immense danger starting to try and pull things back? That we shall have to see. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed that video. It's a bit of a longer video, but it had to be. It was such an important topic. So again, thanks so much everyone for tuning in. Much love, and let's hope for the best outcome for everyone. Yeah, we need peace on Earth. So good luck, Biden, with everything once you actually get there. But let's also keep an eye out as well. There's a lot. This is going to be an eventful summer. We can't have a chart like that and just have nothing happen. It's too intense. So let's just hope for the best outcome and that we can soften any of those harder aspects. All right, so that's enough for me now. I'm going to put this in the edit. Anyway, see you later, everyone. Cheers. Bye-bye.